So I was thinking, how do I go about introducing Marxist approaches to international relations? And I just couldn't think of a good way. But then it occurred to me, get a guest to do it for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome little Karl.
Thank you.
Now, Karl, you're going to explain to us how Marxist theories can be usefully applied to the international system.
That's right. But first I want to tell you a few jokes.
You want to tell us a few jokes?
Yeah, I like to warm the crowd up with my comedy shtick.
Okay, I'll let you tell a few jokes if you introduce the learning outcomes for us.
It's a deal. Okay, the learning outcomes today are to understand how Marxism can be applied to the international system, to understand how some guy called Lenin was one of the first people to do that, and to see how Lenin was inspired by an economist called John Hobson, and to see how Lenin's work was expanded on by later authors. Okay, can I do my comedy routine now? It's what the punters want.
Okay, move over Chico, Harpo and Groucho. Here's the Marx brother who puts the comedy in communism. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Comedy Karl.
Thank you, Uxbridge. You're a lovely audience. Okay, how many capitalists does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know. How many capitalists does it take to change a light bulb?
None. They own the means of production, so they get their wage labourers to do it for them. Why did the chicken cross the road?
I don't know. Why did the chicken cross the road?
Why are you talking about chickens when you should be talking about class solidarity, bourgeois boy?
Did you just call me bourgeois boy?
Okay. What's the difference between an iPhone and an Android phone?
I don't know. What's the difference between an iPhone and an Android phone?
None at all. They both represent fetishized commodities.
Ladies and gentlemen, Comedy Karl, he's here all week.
Did you try the veal?
I didn't actually, no.
Maybe I don't blame you.
Okay, Karl, enough of that. Are you going to explain the relevance of Marxism to the international system?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so what I was thinking was that perhaps you could give us a few key quotations that really get to the heart of how Marxism can be applied to world affairs.
Yeah, I got loads of them. Quotations, yeah. Here we go. The means of production with which the additional labour power is incorporated, as well as the necessaries with which the labourers are sustained, are nothing but component parts of the surplus product of the tribute annually exacted from the working classes by the capitalist class.
I mean, that's fair enough, Karl, but it doesn't really tell us much about the international system.
No, good point. Okay, try this one. The bourgeoisie, at its rise, wants and uses the power of the state to regulate wages, i.e. to force them, within the limits suitable for surplus value making, to lengthen the working day and to keep the labourer himself in the normal degree of dependence.
Solid Marxist stuff there, Karl, but I just don't see how that applies to world politics.
Sheesh, there's no place in some people's. Okay, bring out the big guns. Capital is dead labour that, vampire-like, only lives by sucking living labour, and lives the more the more labour it sucks.
Ugh, that's not really relevant to international relations, Karl. Do you have anything useful to say to students of world politics?
No.
Okay, I am exaggerating a little bit. Karl Marx did say some things about world politics, but not much. Marx spent years exiled in England, and much of his time was spent holed up in the British Library, where he wrote a lot. But most of what he wrote wasn't about international politics, which is fair enough, it wasn't his thing, in the same way that he didn't write about physics or biology. But later authors have taken Marx's work and applied it to the international system. And the first person we're going to look at who did that is Lenin!